Hello, everybody, and welcome to Between Plays. All right, the market has been absolutely horrible lately. Um, look, basically, if you're not in the right companies right now, it's gonna hurt. It's definitely gonna hurt. That's for sure. There are some companies that right now might not be doing so well, but long-term strategy should pay off over time. Naturally, this is not financial advice. This is my opinion, of course. Let's take a look at a few of those companies that I have out there that I'm thinking about. So I was taking a look at Global Star over the years, and basically which other companies out there that have more low Earth orbit satellites and stuff like that. Not many when it comes to public companies, but when it comes to companies. So GSAT, I'm thinking long term, it's just going to pay off. They're with Qualcomm. Qualcomm set them up in the very beginning. I mean, this is Globalstar and Qualcomm go way back, and it's CDMA technology and the whole 9 yards. So I'm not really too worried about GSAT in the long run. Another company that is doing not so well, and we have to look at it for what it is. CloudMD. CloudMD was played really hard. There was a lot of interviews that were happening at the time. There was a lot of hype. I mean, we had the pandemic. Everybody's in front of a screen. We got retail investors flooding the market. And what do you have? You have this amazing app that comes out. Cloud practices were bought out. You go from Premier Health, changes name. There's excitement around it. It goes from premierhealth.ca and it goes to CloudMD and on the venture exchange. So what can you say? I mean, it was played. I mean, if you go and look at the chart, go just look at the chart, and you're going to see how that spike happened. Now, that being said, go look at Teladoc. Go look at Well Health. All right. If you go look at these companies, you're going to see that there's spikes in all of them. Teladoc was really, really high. It's also coming down low. You got to give it for what it is. Now, CloudMD is a very interesting long-term strategy play. Their app, the technology that they have, is there's not many out there that are like it. Now, when you look at companies like Well Health, that are mostly a pure play telehealth company, well, they've adapted. They realize, and I saw this in an interview, they had Dialogue, CloudMD, and they had Well Health. And they were all speaking. They were all on. Dr. Hamza was on too, and everything like that. You can go and look it up. Just look for Dialogue, CloudMD, and Well Health interview. Go watch this interview. If I find it, I'll put it up on the screen over here, or I might put up in the Twitter. Well, I'll put up here and on Twitter. Okay. So if you go look at that, you're going to see that the CEO of Well Health says that they realized that there was a problem here, that if they see people in the telehealth, but then they have to refer them to a clinic, they might end up referring them to a clinic that has telehealth. So why would you have to go back to Well Health? Well, Well Health got rid of they adapted, and they went and got clinics and stuff like that. So they understand the importance of having clinics, footprint clinics on the ground. Now, CloudMD has had this one-centric, full body long-term care patient, one-stop shop idea since the beginning. All right, and this goes back many years before even being CloudMD. That's why their app is so good, adaptable for the future and stuff like that, which puts CloudMD in a very good spot over the next 10 to 20 years. I say that because it's the type of stock that it's a disruptive sector stock. So it's going to take time for that to come about. So if you take a look at Amazon, look at it in the 1990s. They didn't go to what they were overnight. it took them a good 10, 15, 20 years to get to where they are today. Now, I'm not comparing, but I am talking about disruptive sectors. Disruptive sectors take time. So you had Teladoc, that's why people were playing in the beginning. It shot up. It was a big one in the first, and then you had Well Health, and then you have CloudMD. But CloudMD, for me, still stays a company that has long-term potential. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you to some other stocks that I find that have been doing really amazingly well support-wise through these times. Now, we see that we have the Paris Accord Agreement at this moment, and we have the world shifting over to decarbonization. The EV sector is just going crazy. You should look back at the interview with CEO Mr. Peter Cashin from Imperial Mining Group, and you can see even the conversation there, or anything on Google. Just do a simple search, and we are moving towards a decarbonization type world. EV is highly important, and critical rare earth minerals are very important. There's been a list that's been released by the United States government citing 30 very important rare earth minerals. Scandium just so happens to be one of them. The interview that I had with CEO Mr. Peter Cashin of Imperial Mining Group is a scandium pure play. Now, if you put that into context, and Quebec government helped aiding with a grant of over $200,000 and out of a fund of over $4 million to up this pilot, to help aid in upping this pilot plant for Imperial Mining Group. That's a huge thing. And it's not something that's taken lightly. And at the same time, if you look at the deal that they have, the partnerships that they have with like Eck Industries and stuff like that, and for aluminum, and the fact that Russia and China supply most of the scandium on the planet. These are pure play countries, right, supplying. You have other parts of other countries that, they may get some out while they're mining for other stuff. But for Imperial Mining Group, it's a pure play. And if you look at the tonnage, it's quite impressive. If you look at the mine life, it's quite impressive. So at the price it is now for rare earth minerals, critical rare earth, that's why it's just holding so well. The support level is so incredible through all this stuff that's happening. It doesn't matter. Right now we see stuff happening with Russia. The stock market is been horrible and all this kind of stuff. But I go to sleep well at night because I have money in Imperial Mining Group. That's something that's, hard to say for a lot of stocks out there. So just imagine the day that they're producing. Imagine the day when the United States finds out about this company, or that, Canada goes, whoa, wait a minute, look, we got this here and we need this, because even Canada's going, they signed an agreement with the United States in early 2021, about rare earth minerals. This is why there's a big uproar right now over the whole Neolithium sale to a Chinese company. The United States is not happy about that. They thought that Canada should have done more. They should have researched it. They don't understand how they could have let Neolithium go. Now, naturally, anyone listening out there that loves Neolithium is probably saying all the same thing, and I'm saying the same thing. I can't even discuss Neolithium. I talk about Neolithium, and I'm just like, what? What happened? Wait a minute. No, that didn't happen. There's no way it happened. Not for $6.50. Are you kidding me? I mean, go look at any stats. Anyways, look, I'm got to stop. Because every time I talk about Neolithium, I'm just going to go off at the other end. Because I can't believe the sale too. I cannot believe that even Canada authorized it. I was going, okay, so for sure this is going to fail somewhere. I mean, maybe Canada will put stop to it, because how can you get rid of this gold mine? I mean, but anyways, it went through. So what do you want to do? Anyways, that's just it. We have to let it go. I'm having a hard time letting it go, but we got to let it go. But anyways, for scandium, listen, it's extremely important. You need it in aluminum. It makes aluminum weldable. If not, you're just going to be doing everything in rivets. that makes the planes and defense systems of anything, jets or whatever, it makes things heavy. So you need scandium also to make aluminum strong, which is why it makes it weldable, laser weldable. So you need scandium to make the aluminum strong. You can do castings with it. You know, like look, right now with Eck Industries, Imperial Mining Group, Eck Industries worked on a battery box to make, you know, what holds the battery, the casing, lighter for EVs. Scandiums are needed in fuel cells. It's needed in the defense sector in order to have lighter tanks, lighter missiles, lighter jets, and all this kind of stuff, but also for lighter electric vehicles, for lighter planes, to do what used to be maybe in steel, do aluminum castings in order to replace these heavy parts, whether in electric vehicles, in fuel cells in electric vehicles, and stuff like that. Now, on top of it all, if you look at solid state batteries, they're looking at, and this is something I read of a company, I'll put that up there, Indium, so Indium, is being replaced in solid state batteries with scandium. So it's just a matter of time that this critical rare earth mineral deposit of Imperial Mining Group is just going to be picked up. So it's something to take, you know, to really, really look at. And if memory serves, I believe Mr. CEO Peter Cashin of Imperial Mining Group stated that with his previous company, that they took it from 6 cents. I think it was Quest Rare. Anyways, I'd have to look, but it was from 6 cents and it went to $9. That can change a person's life at the prices they are at right now. Okay, so scandium for me is something in these times, Imperial Mining Group in these times is highly important. Another company that I find very important that's out there is Edison Lithium. Why? They have a huge deposit, 15,000 of it, you know, had gone through a survey, and the geological survey went to like 500 meters, and the geophysical survey. And the thing is that they saw that there was lithium in that area. Now, naturally, you're going to have to go and excavate, and you're going to have to do the drilling and the whole 9 yards, and you have a lot of work to do there to get the samples out and see what they're at and stuff like that. The land size is absolutely insane. Who else has this massive land size? 148,000 hectares, 107,000 in Antofalla, and 41,000 in Pipanaco. Look, near Catamarca, the city right there. So they say that they can do they can produce a process, at the Pipanaca if they want to, or they can do DLE extraction there. And then you have all this in Antofalla, which is a known lithium basin. It's at these prices, you can pick up a ton of shares, and just wait and sit on it, as you know you're swinging other stocks or day trading other stocks and stuff. But this is something in the portfolio that you have there, and you just go, oh, let them do their work. Let them do the work. I sit back. We know it. 2050 decarbonization. That's not too long from now. By 2030, we're gonna have this many EVs on the road. Lithium is soaring until 2030. Forget about it. It's just insane the amount we're gonna need. So something like Eddy at the price that it's at now, and I always look at that. Like if I look at like companies like Lithium Chile, and you see them at 5 cents or 10 cents at one point, everything, you're like, oh, why didn't I get into it then? Why didn't I get into it? Well, I'll tell you why. Because it was so high risk that you just didn't want to take that chance. But the thing is that if it's 5 cents, and you put in like $5,000, and it goes up to what it's going up to now, you're pretty much laughing, right? So you gotta think about these types of things when you're making your investment strategies. So basically, Eddy's another one, and it's been doing really well support wise. I mean, you can go out there and look at a lot of stocks, and then you look at Eddy. Eddy's been holding up really well. So imagine when it does start taking off, because support's there. You can see it. It's obvious. Now, Talon Metals for nickel. I mean, come on, they have a contract with Tesla. In a few years from now, they have to be producing by 2026. I mean, imagine the pressure on the poor CEO to get this, up and running. It's absolutely crazy. I mean, definitely, I would be doing everything on the planet to make sure I do everything right. You got the contract. You got the contract that we're all looking at in 2020. And now all of a sudden, it's like not a big thing anymore. How does that even work? Anyone that can remember 2020 and the whole battery day, and we're going to give this contract to whatever. And then, you have Giga Metals in there going absolutely crazy. And then you have CNC, Canadian Nickel Company, going over there. And then you have this whole conversation. Everybody's like, oh my God, who's it going to be? Invest. And people are going crazy. And then all of a sudden, we know Talon Metals gets the contract, and now it's not a big thing anymore. How does that work? It's still a big thing. It's still a big thing. It's just because there's something going on with even the way the media is delivering stuff. In 2020, it seemed like there was such a hype on the stock market that you couldn't get enough of it. And all of a sudden now, it's just this died down. Why? Is it because everything is red? Talon's not doing that bad. Talon's doing actually quite excellently. They went up to 84, 85 cents. Maybe more, 89 probably. They went up to that amount. And then TD went and bought a whole bunch out at I think 72 cents or something like that, okay? So, of course, the stock is crashing, all right, because it's going to consolidate. And at the same time as that happened, people are trying to take out their profits because they want to take out their profits. Now, they know that the stock's going to come back down, so they take it out. So, of course, the stock goes all the way down to about 60 cents. But look at it. It's always trying to come back up. Why? Because people realize that it's not going down to 40, 30 cents. Because Elon Musk is in here. Tesla is in here. I mean, let's logically look at this. So they just went and said, okay, here you have the contract, and then they just walked away oh, I gotta go now. I don't think that's what happened. I think some, professionals, experienced people went over there and said, okay, let's look at what you got going on over here. You're great with the community. Okay, that's probably last, right? So the first thing that they did is that they said, let's look at the nickel quality you have here in the content, what you think you can get. And I went, wow, this is really good. This quality, this nickel, this is exactly what I want. You're pulling out some good grades here. You got a lot of it. There's a lot more room for expansion. All right, let's look at the ESG now. All right, everything looks to be perfect. Exactly what we're looking for, and you're community oriented, the whole 9 yards. What can I ask for more than this? Plus, there's 2 mines that are the same type that are going out of service by 2026, 2027 because of the fact that they will be running out of nickel, which puts even more importance on this nickel mine, which is right in smack dab in the United States, which just made a deal with Electra, okay, to process the nickel in Canada. So in Electra, that means Electra, pay attention to Electra there, all right? What happened? So it's not a big play? Where's all the money? Where's all those people from 2020? Where are they all? I mean, those people wanted to be in Talon so badly. Something's going on. Not Talon so badly, excuse me. Wanted to be part of that big nickel deal. That's what I meant to say. And Talon's the one who has that contract. They're the one who got that contract. So, where are they all? Let's get into another company that's out there that's really interesting. Northern Graphite. All right, Northern Graphite's another company that's been doing amazingly well. With Imerys, they picked up 2 lands, and one's producing, one's in Nambia, and now they ended up picking up another one. I think it's Muso. Anyways, you have to do the DD on that because I'm doing a little bit of a rundown over here today. And Northern Graphite, Gratomic is great too, don't get me wrong. But I want more shares of something that is doing great. Because they're supposed to be the Northern Graphite right now is supposed to be the 3rd largest pure producing graphites or mines like outside of China. Probably, and they say, if I remember correctly, the largest in in America. So how that's a great stock too. Everybody knows graphite's highly important. Graphite's highly important. So, and the more that we, and from graphite you can get graphene, right? It's about the layers, it's about the layers that create the graphene, correct? But it comes from graphite. So you're looking at something really big there as well, Northern Graphite. And if you look at the stock, it's been pretty good. Then you have others like Arena. How can you go wrong with Arena? Lithium play, LAC, Ganfeng is involved. Of course, they're going to bring this company to either producing, or just before they produce, when the stock's going to go up, maybe one of them will buy it. Maybe LLC will buy it, Ganfeng will buy it, which means that you need to buy a lot of shares. That's what it means. If you have 1,000 shares and it goes to $3.50 or whatever, you're going to make money. You're going to make money. But the thing that sucks sometimes with some companies is that you need to buy a ton of shares. You need to have 50,000 shares, 35,000 shares, 100,000 shares, if not more, because if it goes up $2, $3, $4, that's a great bargain. Like, that's why when you look at NLC, they're like, oh, it's such a great bargain, $6.50 above premium. Yeah, because you have millions of shares. And if you have millions of shares at 10 cents and you're selling it for $6.50, hell yeah, that's a great deal. But for people that are hoping that you're going to produce and you're going to be bringing it to $10 to $20 to $30, no, it's a shit deal. All right? So that's just the way it works. Anyways, so Lithium Chile, all right? That's another great stock. I mean, another one, how can you go wrong with it? You have, land in Argentina, Antofalla, and then you have others in Chile. And so some people say, well, oh yeah, I know, but they're changing the government, stuff like that. Listen, from what I've read and all this kind of stuff, it seems like they might ask for, let's say, a royalty or something like that, like a tax, a royalty, whatever, on the companies that are already there producing. But what they're just looking to do is to get their own governmental company up and running. Look for safe environmental practices, using less water and stuff like that, and changing what lithium is in the way they see lithium, like the way they classify it. All right, and then bring that on so that they can get royalties or something like that for their people. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you're extracting from Canada, or if you're extracting from, so some money, going to the government to pay for, I don't know, anything, lights, electricity, creating dams, social needs, it's there, right? So healthcare, all this kind of stuff, right? Whatever it is. The point is that Lithium Chile also, for me, is still a very, very, very big. And you know what? If anybody's going to produce, it'd probably be companies like Eddy and Lithium Chile. And of course, you have some other big names out there. All right, you have some other big names out there. If I try to think of others, Frontier Lithium, that is a really big company as well. Hard rock, spodumene out in Ontario. I can't go wrong in that. That's a great stock. I was in Alpha Lithium. I just got out because there was I had gotten out on the Monday because of the fact there's a uranium 1 is involved in them. So of course, naturally, what's going on, I didn't want to do that. So that brings me to another segment over here, and it sucks, but we have to talk about it. There's two other things I want to talk about over here. One is, have you been hearing a lot about COVID? I haven't been hearing a lot about COVID. Listen, I have a ton of apps on my cell phone. I have a ton of apps on my old cell phone, and I'm not getting many things anymore. Plus, with my children in school, the way they've changed the system now. It's nothing like it was before. It's so difficult to find in like information. You have to go by day. Anyways, it's just different. It's just different, and the whole feel on it's different, right? Anyways, I think the CDC released something about in the United States how they classify it now, and it's I don't want to say too much, but let's put it this way: cruise lines are taking a hit right now just because of what's going on overseas. But they stated that they don't really do much over there anyways in Russia and the Ukraine area. So with Carnival Cruise Lines, they were saying like, we don't even go much over there. It's not going to really affect us. Their bookings are up. It's at a very good price right now. And if there's not that much talk and my apps aren't going crazy, you got to look at it. Now, people are going to say, yeah, but you're crazy, man. I mean, like, look what's happening over there with Russia and stuff like that. Like, you really want me to invest in cruise lines and stuff, like right now? Well, let's put it this way. At $18 for companies that, will go for like $60, $70 a share US, that's planning on big expansion in China, LNG technology, they're going to be reducing, with electrification, they're reducing on their biggest expense, which is gasoline, oil. For me anyways, sure, I'm going to diversify there. I don't really want to invest in something when it's at $40. I mean, this is the stock market. You got to take calculated risks. You have no choice, or else you're just going to always get in at the top. That sucks, and that's good. That maybe I had 3 points to bring up, but that's another point I'm going to have to bring up. Actually, I should write this stuff down. So I'm probably going to forget my points. So the cruise lines. So let me write this down, all right? So I can't forget what I'm writing over there. And okay. So let me write that down. So definitely can't get in at the top, because how are you supposed to make money? It gets up, shoots back down. You're like, oh man, I always get in when I'm at the top. Is that what's going on with Talon right now? With Elon Musk, Tesla making a deal with Talon? I mean, that's a great deal. The stock is super inexpensive. Is everybody waiting until 2026? Where is all this? Are people stuck in stocks? They're all holding bags somewhere. I don't understand, because when you really look at Talon at 60 something cents, and you think 2026 they're supposed to be producing. They're in with Rio Tinto. Talon's going to have 60%. Rio Tinto's 40%. They have deals for processing with Electra. They have a deal with Talon. With Elon Musk for Tesla. They have the Tamarack, which is huge. Which they're expanding. They just did a drilling, and they were like, oh my God, look at how much we got over here. And they still got a hell of a lot more to go along. And we have two mines that are like similar type mines that have that kind of quality that are actually going out. They're running out by 2026, 2027. So the thing is that if you always get in to stocks when they're being played and are at the top, you're always going to be holding bags. The whole thing is to get in way before retail and commercial investors, before the big companies get involved, before the big money starts shooting in, before it's being, it's gaining that momentum, and then you have the retail investors that start flocking in and everything like that. Because if you go with, let's say, certain articles that are written out there that they say, stocks in play and all this kind of stuff, when it says that, go and take a look at how much it's grown over the last few months. And then all of a sudden, it's at this place. Sometimes it seems to me like those articles come out when a lot of the growth has already happened. And who does it benefit? Not the retail investor. benefits the companies that are already in. And if that stock goes up a little bit, of course, the companies that are in from the very beginning might take out some shares, put some money on the side, and then all of a sudden the stock starts going down and it starts, fluctuating, which then takes a long time for it to go back up. So you have to like sort of guess to get in at a support. All these companies here, and so basically that was the second point that I want to bring up here is stop investing at the top. Stop investing at the top. And you know what? And it's all about patience. And don't invest more than you can afford to lose. And I'll tell you why. If you invest more than you can afford to lose, what ends up happening is that you're going to need the money. And if you're a bag holder, you're going to pull out the money. You're going to have less money than what you put in. And that's just not a good thing to do. You should be putting in what you could afford to lose, because that means that you don't really need that money. You're like, well, okay, if I lose it, I lose it, which means that you can go on with your everyday life. But if you have stocks that you're saying, okay, I'm in a really good support here on this stock, it's got a lot of potential, because you're not investing in the play, you're investing in the company. So you need to know about the company. You need to know what the company is about. You need to know what scandium is about. You need to know how it interacts. Can scandium be replaced with anything else in aluminum? No. So you have to know these things. Oh, it's good for fuel cells too? Are you kidding me? EVs is the big thing. Solid state batteries? That's the future. Solid state batteries are the future. It extends the range. It's safe. They don't, fuse up and everybody, just goes up in the car like that. Wow. And you mean it's replacing indium? Wow, it's incredible. So scandium is really important. It makes jets lightweight. It makes planes lightweight, because or else it's going to be full of rivets and it's going to be super heavy, which means it's going to consume more gas, which means it's not good for electrification because it's going to be so heavy. So we need to have it lightweight. Oh, so you put scandium in there, and then all of a sudden, now you can laser weld it. My God, we can use it in casting. We can do a whole bunch of things because of scandium. So you have to where does scandium come from? Who's got the countries that have it? Well, okay, so with Russia, we tons of sanctions, so we're not going to get any from Russia. China already said that we're not taking. We said that we're blocking things from China. They were holding back their rare earth minerals from the rest of the world. So okay, we're not going to get it. So where are we going to get it from? So this is not a good play. Think about all these things. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that you have to go in there. I want you to do your due diligence. I want you to research, prepare, plan, execute. That's what you have to do, right? Let's see, what other stuff are out there? Now, naturally, you should join the Twitter account, all right? Right now, we're almost at 300 people, and the Twitter account, I always had it on the side, but I wasn't very active in it, but I'm very active in the Twitter account, and the Telegram, very active in the Telegram, which is all at the top here if you have your computer. If you don't have it, you have to go into community, and you'll be able to find it up there in the tabs at the top. But let's just go and take a quick look at some of these companies before we end off, all right? So here's Imperial Mining Group. We went through the investor presentation over here, and as you can see, here is our interview on their site. Thank you very much, Mr. Peter Cashin. I appreciate that. CEO of Imperial, founder, of course, and CEO of Imperial Mining Group. And this is very, very, very important stuff here. I would suggest that you guys come over here and go through everything and learn what it's about. Like, look at this. It's doing so well. Edison Lithium, another one over here. Now, Edison Lithium, they just purchased this not too long ago at 13 cents. What an amazing buy-in. Look at the hectares of land. They have the cobalt there still. You have Roger Don, which is, of course, the brother of Dr. Jeffrey Don, who's senior advisor for Tesla and the whole nine yards. Roger Don is in Manganese Energy Corp. So Manganese X Energy. Like, there's a lot of even Nathan Rothstein over here stated that of course we're going to try to utilize the resources that we have. And I think that was when he was talking about, Mr. Don. So it's very interesting stuff. So how can you not take a chance on this type of company? Naturally, you have Lithium Chile. How can you go wrong? Lithium Chile here, you have the compared to 68,800 hectares in Chile and 23,300 hectares in Argentina, and they are doing great, pulling out beautiful amounts of lithium. Now the Tamarack mine nickel, Talon Metals, Tamarack nickel, low-cost nickel producer in the USA. By 2026, how can you go wrong? Naturally, they get the deal with Elon Musk Tesla, and it's still sitting at such an amazing thing here. It's incredible. So here they have a recent thing. They have reduces the royalty. Talon Metals executives speak at the BMO Global Metals and Mining Conference. Climate innovation funding by the U.S. Department of Energy. So you see they already there's a lot of interest inside here. And Talon announces 31 new drill holes, which I was talking about at the Tamarack Nickel project, and they did really, really, really well. 15.0 meters of nickel, copper mineralization. Talon Metals announced closing of some deals over here. So this is huge. You should look at that. Now, this is Northern Graphite Corporation. Like this stock here, this company here is absolutely insane. And yes, it was the Muso, as I had stated. So I was right about this. And they had purchased from Imerys 2 different lands, one producing, one in Namibia. They're going to bring it back online. They already have their own at Bisset Creek over here. So this is an insane stock to own. Look, I don't even. You have to go through this. It's incredible. It's just been extremely resilient to the stock market, and now. The way the stock market's been going now. Now, just check this out over here, guys. This is this is the other last point I wanted to talk to you about, and it is Mullen Automotive. This is a beautiful car that you can reserve now called the MULN 5. I'm gonna go into they're in I believe it's California. And everything that they do and everything that they own is theirs. It's their product. They have a battery that can go 600 miles. So if I go and just take a quick look at that, let's just take a fast look at Mullen over here. So if I go to, give me 2 seconds here. So let me go to Mullen Auto. So it's on the NASDAQs. Let's just get that straight and clear. And they're at aftermarket 164, all right, at the after hours. But check this baby out over here. All right, EV manufacturer Mullen announces progress on solid state polymer battery pack development. Now, of course, my computer is going to act up on me because I'm doing the video. Now, here we go. So so look at this. Data collected solid state shows impressive result, including a range of 600 plus miles on a full charge and over 300 miles of range delivered in 18 minutes with DC fast charging solid state. And they even state that crossover in vehicle prototyping testing set for 2025. Mullen's first generation 5 EV crossover due in late 24 is planned to launch with traditional lithium ion cell chemistry, and they're going to be working on other lithium chemistry batteries, and even the solid state polymer one has lithium inside of it. So that's an insane vehicle. Let's go back over here. Let's see if we can take a look at this vehicle. Let's just go see. So estimated range estimate is 325 on this one over here on the Mullen 5. And this is the Mullen 5 electric SUV crossover, and starting price of $55,000 upon vehicle order. It's a beaut. It's a 4-door. It's just a beautiful. It's honestly a very beautiful vehicle. 100 deposit with a credit card. I mean, how can you go wrong with this one? This is that's for that. Okay, so let's just go back. I want to show you. Let's see if I can get over here and see something else. Mullen Launch Point, more information, investing, manufacturing. Let's go and see for the manufacturing over here. So, okay, so I can get this over here. So they have vans as well, which I thought was very, very, very interesting. EV vans. So they have opportunities for different things. Tunica, Mississippi Advancing Manufacturing Center, located 50 from Memphis, Tennessee. 125 square feet, turnkey engineering facility on 100 acres. Manufacturing innovations and validation, ability for light vehicle assembly. Check that out. Mullen is currently working on creating the necessary infrastructure and required machinery to support large-scale electric vehicle production, which will begin in Q3 of 2024. At these prices, all we have to do is invest and see what's going to happen, of course. If you look at Solo and if you look at other vehicles, it looks like it's a very great price right now. All right. Basically, what Mullen... So I was in Neo at like $3, I think it was before it shot up. I was at Neo at like $3. Was it LAC? I think Neo was actually cheaper than that. I think LAC was $3. Anyways, my memory's fading here. 2020, right? So we've been through so much. How the hell are you supposed to remember anything? But if you think about it, if anything goes sideways, all right, with these vehicles like Neo, Li Auto, Xpeng, look at what happened to the stock market with the Russians, right? Look what's going on. What's going on? I love, honestly, I really like these cars. I think Neo is absolutely beautiful. I really like Xpeng as well. Li Auto is nice too. Look, they're all nice vehicles. But I find that the risk is really high. I really do. I do. When you really look at things and how fast you could just, the Russian stock market, what's going on, how easy it is to just, I'm thinking that maybe locally investing in stuff like vehicles like Mullen, which is, also has batteries that are doing these kind of ranges and are willing to work on batteries to get extended ranges like this. Because, hey, 600 over 600 plus miles, that's like close to 1,000 kilometers. That's incredible. So, and their DC fast charging, 18 minutes, you get over 300 miles. That's extremely impressive. So, when you look at Mullen at $1.64, 2024 is in 2 years from now. Listen, do you remember when? It's now it's going to be easy for the ones that are watching this that are maybe not over 30 years old. All right, anyone that over 30 years old, I find anyone that I think when you start hitting about 35, perspective of time changes. Especially over 40, and then probably just gets worse as you go on. I'll let you know. I'll find out. All right. Yeah. So basically, when you first heard about COVID in January, and you heard that's in China, this thing, people were falling down. Do you remember that? Seems like a long time ago. It's yesterday. 2 years went by like that. Gone. Just gone. It's over. Like, you can't get back the past. What it is what it is. It's over. Done. That's it. All right. You can only live for right now, hoping for a better tomorrow. That's it. So when you think about it, 2022, already March, 2024 is in 2 years. 2 years. What does it take to put in 5, 2,000, 1,000, 10,000 now to wait 10 years, right? So if you put in what you could afford to lose and you're waiting 10 years and these guys start delivering the MULN 5 crossover, their battery that has ranges of like 1,000 kilometers almost. Now think about the OGs, right? I call them the old vehicle manufacturers like Ford, Stellantis now. Okay, I think it's Chevy and another one that grouped up. You look at all these old gangsters, right? Like the old OGs in the car manufacturing industry, and their ranges are not—they're not doing this. MULN's range, all right, just the battery alone, the range is better than Lucid's. Better than Lucid Auto. So how is that 164? Now, if you look back, when they went onto the NASDAQ, it shot above $10. Right? It was at pretty high. It was pretty high to stock. Which also means that there's a lot of people looking at that stock in the past that managed to bring it up there. Now, people took out their, naturally took out their profits that they had, that the money that they made. Some shorted the stock hard. Some people got out, whatever. It went below $1. But if what the corporation is stating to be factual, that's an insane battery. That's amazing technology. And that's a beautiful car. So why wouldn't another company come out and try to buy out this company? I mean, if I was another company and I wanted that kind of battery range, I would approach them for sure. I'd be like, okay, look, let's make a deal. I'm interested in the battery, right? And the car is pretty damn nice too, so I'll take the car too. But what do you want? Because a lot of these other companies are working on trying to extend the range of their batteries. Whereas you have this company that's getting their car out in 2024 that's got this battery that's going over 600 plus miles, and already on the MULN you have the one that's coming out at 300 and something miles, which puts it above 500 kilometers, about 515 kilometers and stuff like that. When you look at risk, the risk basically is the financials of the company, right? Which everybody should do their own due diligence. I'll have a video on that. But that's what you're basically looking at, is the financials of the company and transparency. That's it. That's all, which is normal for all companies, correct? Financials, transparency, direction, macroeconomics. Is this industry going to be doing well in the long term, or is it an industry that's going to do, is it going to go on a decline? Naturally, electric vehicles, lithium, solid state batteries, right? So we know what the direction it's going in. So it comes down to the microeconomics. It comes down to the fundamentals of the company transparency. That's what it comes down to. When you look at risk, if putting that aside, if you're looking at cash and the whole 9 yards, and if I believe for MULN, they hit an 8-cent earnings per share. I think it was like 14 on the one before that, and then the last one was 8 cents, and they're in the green. So they met or exceeded. So it's very good just for that alone, right? When you look at that. So when I look at risk in between the Asian stocks, and I'm looking at MULN, and I'm looking at Lucid, let's say like all these, these vehicles that have these long ranges like this 600 plus mile battery, and I'm looking at old car manufacturers that are trying to gain this type of technology, it looks like MULN has a good future. So at these prices, I wouldn't even hesitate. Sure, today it went up over, I think it was over 100%. Okay, but the thing is that it can go up even tomorrow over 100% again, because it's dirt cheap when you think about the technology that they have and that they're going to be producing in 2 years. It's dirt cheap. You can reserve the vehicles right now. For me, it's all about the battery, right? I mean, if a car company comes out with a beautiful car, but I'm only getting 50 miles on the battery, well, no one's buying that. but you're talking over 600 plus miles. You know, you're offering the Mullen right now crossover, which is beautiful, at over 321 miles, over 515 kilometers. And then the other one's like near 1,000 kilometers, if not surpassing, if it's 600 plus miles. That's insane technology. Plus, you're still going to continue working on the technology. Plus, you have the manufacturing plant that you already have everything there. Basically, you're just waiting to get everything. You know, things are naturally, you're building up the company to get it ready to go. Yeah, man, it's pretty hard. So for me, Mullen's very attractive. Now, listen, everybody, always remember, okay, to research, prepare, plan, and execute. And, you know, the stock market's been pretty nasty these last year, something like that. It seems like we're going to be going for a long ride, shaky long ride. There are some there are some people that are making money. Naturally, if you're a day trader and you're taking out singles and stuff like that, you're good because you're not, you're making some green, you're taking it out, you go somewhere else completely, and you take out some green and you're good because you're always going back to cash. So these singles, after a while, they accumulate and you make money that way. Sometimes you get lucky and you make more money. Naturally, for people that are doing longs and are hoping for companies like the ones that I have mentioned here a little earlier, naturally, there's other companies I'm also in and very interested in. There's companies that I wish I had more money that I can invest in. Like I'm invested in Carnival Cruise Lines. That's still in CUK. Some people can go to CCL. I just went to CUK because I could pick up more shares, right? But with so much less talk about COVID. But anyways, I made a ton of money on Carnival Cruise Lines and Royal Caribbean and Norwegian since 2020, and it just keeps on paying out. So the day that they all go out, which is they're supposed to have 100% of their fleet out by summer, if I remember correctly, for Carnival, you're looking at and if they ever start offering dividends down the road, yeah, so basically that's just basically it. But the stock market has been not so great, but if you're looking at some stocks that have some really good support, these stocks look to have some good support right now. What can happen later, I don't know, but right now they look pretty good. Sometimes you have to take some losses in certain things. Now remember, this channel, I made it so that my kids one day can look back on these in case, God forbid, but that they can understand how I invest. Now the thing is that sometimes you have to take losses somewhere in order to maximize gains somewhere else. But you have to minimize those losses. So you can't stay in something until you're like, it goes down and maybe it's going to come and maybe it's going to come. Maybe it's going to be better. Maybe it's going to be better. Maybe, you never know. Maybe. When you see things here going, man, I really like that stock. I know it's going to do well in the future. I can feel it. It's got the fundamentals. It's got this, it's got that. It's perfectly placed in a certain area, for growth. I see the supports there. And, if it goes up 10 cents or 20 cents, I make back the money that I would have lost by taking it out of the other one, especially if you minimize your losses. So as soon as it's not what you were looking for, it's doing really bad, you have a bad feeling about it, not because it's emotional, but it's based on research and that it shouldn't be doing that, and you're out, you get into something where it should do better, that you understand it's as support, you understand the macroeconomics, the environment that it's in, you feel good with the owners, the whole 9 yards. You don't invest in a stock, you invest in a company, right? You're investing in the leader of the company, you're investing in the industry, you're investing in the macroeconomics, you're investing in the political side of it. Companies. That's why investors have a hard time understanding certain things, is that they see a stock go up, they put their money in it because they see that something shiny or something like that, and that maybe they can make money there, and they're not doing the work that's necessary to understand that they should never have gotten into that stock, or when it was time to get out, I'm questioning this way too much. should I be questioning it weight so much? Let's think about it. The company's supposed to be transparent to begin with. So if the company's not transparent and you don't know where it's going and you don't feel comfortable with it, and it's not what you thought you were getting into, or it turned out to be something different, because every single company can switch along the way. Every single company, something can happen along the way. And it just isn't the direction that you want to go anymore. Now, hopefully the company's transparent enough to allow these material changes that shareholders get to vote on them, stuff like that, and you can be like, no, I'm just gone, all right? But when you start seeing it's happening, it's not what you want it to be in, maybe you can swap shares. You can get into something else that, like, you're taking a loss, but let's say your share is at 20 cents, right? You got in at 30 cents, but now it's at 20 cents. And you see another company that you're like, oh, that one might go up, and it's at 20 cents. Well, what I do is when I see a situation like that, is I know that this one isn't where I want it to go, and this one looks like it's going to go. Well, even if I'm losing from 30 to 20 cents, and I might be losing a lot of money at that, but I know this one is going because this one is not really what I want it to do anymore, and they're both at 20 cents, I'm getting the same amount of shares. I'm just converting. I'm just swapping it over. Now, naturally, I lose the money that's in this one. So my unrealized loss becomes a realized loss. But I don't want to go with 10 cents or 5 cents because it's not what I wanted anyways. I wanted it in the beginning to be what it said it was or where it was going. But then something along the way, years go by and companies change directions and like that. Now it's not where I want it to go anymore. Well, why would I stay in it? Because of the fact that I'm holding a bag now because I have an unrealized loss. But if I see another one that's like, oh my God, that is a good one. I have a really great feeling about it. If I'm going to lose all my money, I'm going to lose it in this one. I'm not going to lose it in this one because I don't want this one anyway. This is not what I wanted to begin. When it was beginning, this is what I wanted, but this is not what I want anymore. So to lose my money in something I don't want anyways, that's shit. That's exactly what Warren Buffett says. At least invest in something that if you lose your money, that was something that you wanted to give it towards because you believed in it, that company. You believed in it. Because at least it's not that if you lose the money, it sucks, but it doesn't hurt as much as losing the money in something you didn't want anyways. Or you're like, oh, that I wouldn't. Would you have bought that? Is that something you really wanted? No. So what I do is when I see myself in a situation like that, is I see, 20 cents, or 18, 19 cents, like they're so damn close. But especially if I can try to, I call it a swap, right? Conversion. I can just go from this company to this company. Think about it. Now, I lost from 10 to 20 cents here. So my unrealized became a realized. But what if my 20 now on this side goes to 30? I made back the exact same amount of money that I would have made here. I made back that money. So in my mind, the way it works is that, yeah, it's unrealized. But I'm getting the same amount of shares. But now I'm realizing it. I get on this side. I'm making back the 10 cents. I made back the exact same amount of money I would have made on the unrealized side. Because that unrealized may never come back. So you'll never get it back anyways. It's a lost money. And then all of a sudden one day you can be like, oh my God, I need that money. And then you take it out, and you lost the unrealized. Whereas over here you had a better chance. It's now probably at 30 and 40 cents. So by the time it goes to 31, 32, 33, now you're in profits. You're like, oh my God, I did the best thing ever. Sometimes it doesn't even work out that way. Sometimes maybe the stock is a 50-cent stock. You take out an unrealized, and the 50-cent stock has a great chance of going, like let's say when it was Neolithium, when it was at 38 cents. Let's say you're in a crap stock, and you put in a lot of money, and now it's at 15 cents. You know that if you're going to put it in Neolithium, it would have to go, let's say, to $1 in order to make your money back. Well, Neolithium went up to $6.50. If you were in a crap stock, you would still be stuck there. So sometimes you need to weigh, is it worth to get out of something into something better because something's changed along the way? And that's how you have to look at things. Like imagine the people that were in Teladoc at $300-something or 200 something, I don't remember what it went up to, and they just stayed in it. thinking, oh, I'm just going to stay in it, stay in it, stay in it, stay in it, stay in it. Or in other companies that were so high and they just stayed in it. But they didn't get in it for the long term. They got in it because they went for the play. That's a difference. If you're in it for the long term, let's just take CloudMD. Let's say you're in it for the long term, 10, 15, 20 years. Because it's turned back into a marathon. We can see that it's, or let's just say a half marathon, because people know of telehealth stocks now. So if you're in it for the long run from the beginning, then it shouldn't worry you so much to where it's going to be in 10, 15, 20 years from now, because telehealth, because it's a disruptive sector and it's brand new. The sector, sure, some people say, oh no, it's been around for like 10 years. Absolutely. But it's not been around to the general retail investors' minds that this should be something to invest in for the last 10, 15 years. No matter how you look at it, big companies and stuff, they even say it's a new sector and it's going to take time for it to build. So you're looking at time. So that's just it. So I went over a few things here, a lot of things. Didn't expect to go through that many things, right? Just basically, I was doing the Zoom on Fridays. I'm going to be doing only 1 hour for Zoom on Fridays between 9 and 10. And what I'm going to be doing is Twitter Spaces instead. And I'm going to announce it's going to be during the week. I'll do Twitter Spaces. And the reason why is because what I didn't take into account is there is a lot of people that are out west or a lot of Europeans that are actually on here watching. And I didn't take that into account when I was doing the Zoom on late Friday nights. And I have to make a change there. I do enjoy at least I'll do an hour because I do enjoy doing it with certain people that are on there. They come on and we have a drink and we talk over stocks or just talk over stuff. Just like the Telegram group, which is really laid back. We talk about everything that's happening right now, Russia, Ukraine. We just talk about life in general. We talk about stocks. We talk about everything. It's actually a great community. I actually call it more a community, more a club than anything else. It's a lot of fun. And I'm going to be doing Twitter Spaces, and it's going to be during the week. And I'm going to be opening up a podcast section. So when I'm going to be doing more CEO interviews, for sure, 100%. I really enjoyed doing a CEO interview. So in the future, I'm going to also have a little podcast. I'll end up stating where that podcast will end up being. So when people are in their car or something like that, they can just play it, put it on, and they'll have a podcast. So that's basically it, everybody. So look, if anyone's stressing out there about what's going on in the world, always remember that we have no say. Meaning we can't change what's going on, and you have to enjoy every single day. That's what I mean. We can lend support. We can be who we are, but always remember at the end of the day that you have all your loved ones around you that are basically waiting for a hug, children and stuff like that. And we have to be strong for everyone around us. So basically, just if you're glued, because I don't know, some people are glued to their phones, glued to their stuff at home and stuff like that. Just try to unglue a little bit. Stock market's been really hard on us. We had the pandemic, which was really hard on us for 2 years. Then we have a stock market that's doing absolutely horrible. And now we have the Russia-Ukraine thing. So that's a lot for the human mind to take. So that's why I'm saying sometimes just close some stuff. And that's why I did this little update for everybody. And just be positive, and things will work out. And those are, in my opinion, those are some great stocks for some support. And when the stock market is going to shoot up, on the great days and stuff like that, these companies pulling out samples, going to production, naturally with big investors one day coming in and stuff like that, at the levels that they're at now, it's hard to beat. All right, so everybody remember, research, prepare, plan, execute, stay strong, everyone. To the next one. Hello to everyone out there. Just taking 2 seconds of your time and asking you to hit the subscribe and the like button. I'd like to also direct you to betweenplays.com, www.betweenplays.com, where we put up many different articles. We have 3 different writers at the moment, and we're trying to up the authors. And go to our Twitter account for like really quick information at Betweenplays 1, and we'll be able to get people to pre-market information and whatever comes along that is important to macroeconomics, microeconomics. As we say here, our motto: research, prepare, plan, execute. Always do your due diligence, and stay strong, everybody. Stay strong.